and chasing the American dream. You know, the American dream is 30 years, pension, you can retire, you know, be with your family. General Motors has taken the American dream and made it pretty much like an American traveling show. How many times do you have to move to keep your job and to keep your slice of the American dream?
Mike Yocum is what you'd call a modern-day nomad, making an almost 300-mile drive from Lordstown, Ohio, to the Lansing Delta Assembly Plant in Michigan every week, leaving his family behind.
The first time you walk into an apartment and it's not your home and that door closes behind you, man, it is the most lonesome sound you'll ever hear. And then keep a long-distance relationship. You still got a house here to do the maintenance, etc. You're going to work there. You know, you're trying to hold everything together. It's rough on marriage. It's tough on my spouse. You know, it's not fun for a family.
This will be the fourth time he's had to start over again at a different plant in his nearly 30-year career at GM after spending the last decade at the Lordstown Assembly Plant.
A victory for us is a victory for you. Victory for us is a victory for you. We've been given so much all these years, and really, ever since I've been hired at GM, we've been given so much. So about time for them to start giving us something back.
49,000 General Motors United Auto Workers have spent the last 6 weeks making their voices heard, fighting to maintain their pay, healthcare benefits, and to create a better path for temporary employees to get full-time status. It's the longest strike by General Motors employees since 1970, and it's cost GM a lot of money, with some experts estimating in the billions. With a tentative agreement on the table, auto workers could be back on the job as soon as Monday. But for thousands of former Lordstown employees like Mike Yocum, the contract signing means either a conclusion to their GM story or a life on the road. What does the agreement mean for the future of the Lordstown plant?
If this tentative agreement passes into the agreement, it looks like it spells the end for Lordstown, which really hurts.
Bill Adams is the vice president of UAW 1112 in Lordstown. He estimates over 16 million cars were built at the Lordstown plant over its 53-year history. But with GM seeing a decline in the sales of small sedans recently, the plant was left unallocated, and thousands were laid off as the last cruise was made here on March 6th of this year.
They're going to come after everybody. There's no real job security agreement in this. And if you really think about it, there was a job security agreement in the last agreement. Didn't work out well for us.
Over the last couple weeks, I made several attempts to talk with GM representatives on camera. Now, they declined every opportunity, but they did say that $7.7 billion of new investment will be made to facilities around the country. Now, as to when and how, well, that's still up in the air. The future of the sedan is in question as the popularity and profit around SUVs and trucks grows, leaving other sedan-making locations around the country vulnerable. Lordstown can be an example of the consequences.
I've lost firefighters that have had to transfer. One of my captains is stuck in Wentzville, Missouri. I have another firefighter who transferred down to Spring Hill, Tennessee. He took his whole family and everything. It puts a burden on me. I lose good people.
Travis Eastham was born in the area and raised in Lordstown. He splits his time working as a UAW 1112 auto worker and the Lordstown Fire Department chief. He's now torn between the time he's invested in a pension or his responsibilities at home and in his community. A lot of the other people from 1112, they're traveling to a variety of places around the country to work at other GM plants. What are your plans?
To be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I'm just playing it day by day. In the long run, I probably have no other option but to quit. I've been dedicated for 24 years and then it's just getting washed away. It's rough. It really is.
Lordstown is not just losing good people, they're losing good money.
We do not have very much commercial business in this small community, and what we have has been affected. There's been a couple of small restaurants closed, a convenience store has closed, at least one. So, you know, already it's had its effect, and we're just getting into this now.
The 25-square-mile village with just over 3,000 people not only taxed GM for its property, but also taxed workers 1% of their wages. The village income tax has dropped significantly. Comparing just September 2016 to September 2019, income tax revenue has dropped over 66%.
I know that we have to move on. I know we can't sit here and complain that General Motors is gone. we have to get up, we have to move, we have to pick up the pieces and go on.
There may be a saving grace. In a statement I received from GM, they said, "We're committed to future investment and job growth in the state of Ohio. Projects planned for the Mahoning Valley include the opportunity to bring battery cell production to the area, as well as the sale of GM Lordstown Complex to Lordstown Motors Corporation, a new company that plans to build electric pickups for commercial fleet customers."
There are talks that an organization called Lordstown Motors may eventually take over that GM plant in the future. What are your thoughts about that?
We're not involved with any of it. This is stuff that's all done outside of the local. It's between General Motors and that Lordstown Motors. We have no input on it. We've been told nothing about it.
The Lordstown Motors and the battery cell production projects are not covered under the proposed tentative agreement. As for Mike Yocum, he will continue to pass the Lordstown plant on his weekly journey back and forth to Michigan, a reminder of what once was and the uncertainty of the future of the village and the people here. In Lordstown, Ohio, I'm Keith Kosinski reporting.